Good morning, Rabbi Sai. לעלוי נשמת מאיר Mordechai. Welcome to all the guests, the number of you. Shkach for coming. Shelaima, where do you come from? Where? What's your name? Rabbinowitz. From? Where do you learn here? New York. And who are you, Tzaddik? I don't know, you look familiar. That's why. I have a good memory. I remember from last night. Lipe Hefler? From? Monsey. Shkoyach. Wow, beautiful. The boys have very, very big news. They've been working on this for probably 2 years. Hundreds, thousands of hours. The new MDY website introduction. MDYDaf.com. Finally, everything in one place. You can join the shir, watch the shir, watch any daf, tzitzur sadaf, get free gemaras, refer people, see all the different platforms, pictures, communicate, keep track of your stats, and many more things to come. Brainchild of Tzvi Fallenbaum, member of the shir from Montreal and Miami, and Shlomo Rosenberg. New apps for the iPhone and Android coming in a few weeks will be almost identical to the site with the same functionality. It's in English now, but a Hebrew version coming soon. Even has an AI help chatbot. It's a lot there. Check it out. First, most important, sign up. The old website will be closed in the future. A lot of time and money, koiches, mamish, thousands of hours in this thing. Rabbi say at the Siyum in America, I asked the Chevra, the Satmar Chevra, if they are willing to put together a WhatsApp group, get together. A lot of them didn't know that each other exists. So it started on December 22nd, this WhatsApp group. Take a look. Well, there's 41 members from Kiryas Yoel. Not bad. It's a nice start. 41. Shavuot Tov, I want to thank you and the entire staff for your tireless effort to bring love of Torah learning to the masses. I've been really enjoying the daf with MDY for about 3 years now, since Moed Katan. 3 years. I recently made it Aliyah. It's been nice to actually come learn the Beis Medrash a few times, even though you keep forgetting who I am, LOL. Was even blessed to be able to come to the Bava Basra Siyum. I often play this year at home, and my kids have gotten into it. Even the baby got into the action, though his timing was slightly off. See attached video. Kol Hakavod, Hashem should give you the strength and clarity to continue to be successful. All the best. Aaron Korda, here we go. Huh? Lisa. Aaron, that's you? Who? Not him. This is flying around in America. It's already on TikTok. The Mailach is on TikTok. That's funny.
Eli, did you show the part where you interrupted?
I already got it over the head from Mendy, I think it was. But I had to do what I had to do. I had to tell him to be mechazik doilam in Yiddish. Another guy to the daf. It might have been the first time it was interrupted, but it was well worth it for me. Listen to this, Rabbi side. There were 2 people at the Siyum, and please daven for Shelaima ben Rachel. He was in an accident and he's in critical condition. I'm his father, and I had the zechus to attend the Siyum yesterday. Even though I did not participate in the learning, I've now started Sanhedrin, inspired by Dov Horowitz from Nariya. Today's learning be a zechus for my son, Shelaima ben Rachel, wishing Psus Toives, Dubi Weiss. Maybe I won't read the whole entire thing, but basically, Gadol am Zakaram Tzadik Gadol. For the past 10 months, during my year of mourning, because he didn't leave. Kitzer, finally last night for the Siyum he came, and flooded with emotions. My heart felt brachas. Anyway, but at the end he writes like this. By the way, as I mentioned to you last night, We'd be honored to host the shir for the benefit of Bnei Brak residents and offer the Armonot Chen Hall in Bnei Brak for free to expand and glorify Torah with respect, admiration, and deep gratitude to your Talmud Moshe Cohn, CEO Chazdei Naomi. Yishkoyach Gadol. And this person said, Yishkoyach for bringing out the thing about the waitresses at the Emerald. I was there, I wasn't there, I saw it on Zoom, and it really bothered me, but I have net free, so I wasn't able to see exactly what was, I guess he saw like these net free, I don't know what it does exactly. But I'm happy that even though you're an American kind of style, and in America might be more acceptable, but over here not, you understood us Hasidic Yidden, and you said that it's a mistake, and it's never going to happen again. Yishkoyach. The Masechta, we have 4 sponsors for the Masechta. For Shelaima for Yosef Shmuel ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. Hatzlacha Beruknius ובגשמיות. Larry Cohn in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70 until 103. For the 102. For the unity of the Jewish people. Parnassa B'revach, we have 6, and today is one of the last days. It is the last day for Leilui nishmas Benjamin Mair ben Zev David Hashem Yinkum Damoy Benjamin Eli Robert's son. Leilui nishmas Zechrya ben Moshe. Leilui nishmas Chaya bas Yosef. Yosef ben Chaya Sara for Parnassa B'revach as a zechus for our children and tremendous Parnassa. Leilui nishmat Yafa bat Simcha Refuah Shelaima Yisrael Yaakov ben Malka. Parnassa Kidnovations LLC in honor of my uncle Rebbe Chaim Pressman and official Parnassa Shavua, Naftali Kraus should be a zechus for Rebbe Eli to continue making learning Geschmack and a zechus for Siyat Shmaya, Yidish Nachas, Shalom Beis, to enjoy, remember, and teach Torah, Parnassa, Refuah, and Atzlacha. Koil of the week, in memory of Simcha and Gittel Stern, lifelong supporters of Torah. Parnassa Chodesh for the art, for the zechus for Rebbe Eli, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Parnassa Chodesh in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Yasher Koyach. A note to Shimmy, the new guy Shimmy. Sponsorships are 1 line, not 4. So maybe he doesn't know. So Meila Kidnovations LLC is going to be cut to 1 line, whatever fits in that 1 line. All right, Rabbi Isai, here we go. I have a Shaila. And it's very interesting because I was zechus to have some girls from Noam Fix's seminary. Talmud Dvora, they had a Shabbaton. The entire seminary was here in the neighborhood. So I had a few of his girls in my house. Plus I had other girls from a different seminary, my niece. And I asked them at the Shabbos table, and no one knew, but one of the girls from Talmud Dvora knew. And you'll see that not everybody in this room will know. Maybe 2 or 3 people will know, besides the people that were here last night and the people that learned Sanhedrin before. So do not answer. You learned Sanhedrin. The question is as follows. Which Jew in history overcame a tremendous nisayon of ishus, taivas of nashim? Which Jew in history? Who else? Nobody. Yosef.
Boaz.
Yosef.
Boaz, Yosef, and Pati Ben Leilui.
I said, you obviously learned this. You obviously got it straight out.
Who's the first superpower?
Come on.
No, anybody? Anybody besides Yosef? Anybody else?
Boaz.
Nice. You sit next to Rav Nachman Seltzer. What happened with Boaz? Let's hear. You didn't know the Rambam. Let's see if you know the Boaz. Well, let's go. Anyway, so we're going to see the Givaldic story of Palti. But there's somebody more than that. There's somebody more than that.
More than Pati Ben Leilui?
Yeah, even more. Another shaila is, what Cohen, now pay attention to this question. It's a tricky question. What Cohen has 0 mumim, no blemishes, he's a regular Cohen, didn't do anything wrong, nothing wrong with him, he didn't marry anybody wrong, but he's not allowed to perform Avodah Beis HaMikdash.
What did the girl say, by the way?
Palti Ben Leilui.
She's my student, that's why she said so.
You taught it to them? She's your student.
Yeah, that's why she
told me. She told me she's your student. But did you think back? Did you talk about this in the last few?
It's something which I've mentioned many times. The Chayrish, that's how she knows.
Okay.
My guess.
Taking all the credit.
Sorry.
Okay. There's actually, it's interesting because there was a student there, she says, she doesn't go to your class really, and she didn't know. See, there you go. Okay. You hear the Shayla? Anybody want to take a stab at it? What kind cannot perform the Avodah? I said nothing's wrong with him. Nothing's wrong with him. Nothing's wrong with him. He didn't do anything. That's something wrong. That's something wrong. Nothing wrong with him. He didn't do anything anymore. Something wrong with him. Nothing's wrong with him. He's a regular kind like everybody else.
Nothing wrong with him.
Nothing's wrong. No, nothing's wrong. Huh? Nothing. No mum, no nothing.
His wife died?
Nothing's wrong with him. The answer is he was a Kohen Gadol in the past. He used to be a Kohen Gadol. No. Says the Gemara, Choletz v'choltzin. It says in the Mishnah that a Kohen Gadol does not perform Yibum. Says the Gemara, Kapasik v'tani. Why should a Kohen Gadol not perform Yibum? What's the problem? The problem is that his brother who died without children left over a wife, his sister-in-law, and this sister-in-law is an almana. Perhaps she might be also not a psula. Now the Torah says, here it is in the Torah, almana ugrusha chalot say lo yikach. It's a negative. It's a lo yisaseh. You're not allowed to marry if you're a kohen gadol and almana. But it says there's a positive. Ki im besula miyam avikach. There's a mitzvah saseh for him to marry a besula. So it says the Gemara like this. It doesn't make any distinction, any differentiation between what kind of woman fell to him liyibum. We know this is erusin. Erusin means that he gave her kesef kiddushin, he gave her a ring, and she became an arusa. That's stage 1. Nesuin, stage 2. Today we do everything together. But the difference is that at this stage, erusin, she's still a bsula. If the husband in this case dies right after he gave her kesef kiddushin, what is she? She's an almana, because she's a eshes ish 100% after she receives kesef kiddushin. Should be an almana, but she's still a bsula. If it was after chuppah, so she's not a bsula anymore, and she's still an almana. So you have two things. Says the Gemara, check this out. You have the green and the red, you have an asay and a lois asay, and his mitzvah of yibum, we'll go real quickly. This is a mitzvah asay. Yivama yavayaleh. It's a positive, it's green. So that positive, one positive cannot knock out one positive and a negative. Here, the D9 comes, hold on, where was it? It gets stuck over here. No, I don't know. Hold on a second. Let's go from here. He tries to push it away and it gets stuck. Why? Because he's only an assay. And one assay of Yibum cannot push away an assay of Psula Yikach and Almana Yikach. However, if it's only a lois assay of Almana Yikach, so the mitzvah of the Yibum should overcome that. He has a mitzvah to perform Yibum with his late brother's wife, that should overcome his isser of marrying an almana. Why doesn't it overcome it? If they only are engaged, meaning with kesef kiddushin, there's erusin, he was mekadesher amai. Why should he not be miyabemer? He should be able to perform yibum. Says the Gemara, the whole mitzvah, you hear this chiddush? The whole mitzvah of yibum is only the first time. And we're concerned that he might do it a second time, and that's already asur.
If she's not pregnant the first time, why doesn't he continue?
That's the mitzvah. The mitzvah is one time. In fact, if the Kohen Gadol went ahead and didn't listen, and he was miyabemer one time, kanu, she becomes his wife. Like anything else, he would have to divorce her. It would be also for him to keep her as a wife. The Gemara tells us, actually, it's the Yerushalmi sticks this in. The Yerushalmi says that Rabbi Yossi, he had 5 Yavamas, and he only had Bir Rishayna with all 5, and he had a Tana from each one. He had 5 children of the Tanai. Meis loy meis. If the Kohen Gadol has a funeral, somebody in his family died, what does he do? Very easy, light Gemara, like a Gadita. Just a lot of words, so we're going to have to pick up some speed. A Kohen Gadol should not go out of the Beis Hamikdash l'yetze imayim. So the Gemara darshans, he shouldn't go out of the Beis Hamikdash with the funeral. He could go behind them. How do you do it? When they turn a corner, then he could appear on that street that they just left. So he's constantly a couple steps behind them. They don't see him, he doesn't see them, but he's giving cover to the mace, and he goes behind them in the funeral. And he goes all the way till the entrance of the city. What about this pasuk? He shouldn't leave the Beis Hamikdash. What? Kohen Gadol can't go home to sleep. Obviously, he goes home at night. He goes home. He goes visit his family. So he's allowed to leave the Beis Hamikdash. So what does the pasuk mean? Don't go out of the Beis Hamikdash. Don't leave your kedusha. It doesn't mean don't leave the Beis Hamikdash. It means make sure you don't touch the aron. You don't go next to the aron. You don't go under the oil of the aron, because then you'll become tamei, and Kohen Gadol should not become tamei. We're keeping this le'akera, but since we're doing some sort of heker over here, he's not going to touch. He's not going to become tamei, because we're telling him, hey, stay 1 block away from the levaya at all times. When they turn, then you could show up. Another turn, you show up to the next place. So what's the problem? If he's making such a heker, he's making this thing, he's doing something to remind him that he shouldn't become tamei. Person is under such tsar, you never know, he'll run like crazy, he'll want to touch the aron, he'll want to go say his final goodbye. He won't control himself, and then he'll become tamei, and that's a big problem. And when he gives tanchumim to a novel, he says, when other people are sitting shiva, and he's saying, so the Kohen Gadol, the Kohen Gadol has a second in command, a Kohen who could fill in his shoes, that if something happens to the Kohen Gadol, he'll step up. That's the Sgan. So remember, he's called a Sgan. We call him something else also. We call him a Memuna. Sgan. Sgan means he's like the vice president. If something happens to the president, boop, the vice president steps up. And this means a Kohen Gadol that used to do the Avodah, and he's no longer a retired Kohen Gadol. So you have the Zgan and the retired Kohen Gadol on his right side. Let's go. Something like this. Okay, this is just L'Saber Sozdai. Here we go. Yeah? So go back. Here's the Kohen Gadol in the center. The Zgan Kohen Gadol is on his right. And the Rosh Beis Av means we divide all the Kohanim into 24 groups, 24 mishmaros. Each mishmar gets a week. Each day, another part of that family. Large families, we have a Rosh Beis Av. You have somebody that's in charge of the whole family. He's the guy on the left. He's not in there. You're right. He's not in there. Few things missing. Oh, yeah, I don't know why they're stepping like that. I don't know what happened. Oh, I know what happened. I tried to fix something and I messed it up. Okay, fine.
Why are the Avelis called Struga?
One question per share, please. I'm not joking. But when he receives, so I did it like this. I changed it a little bit, but I didn't know how to change it so well. So I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to change it later. He is receiving. He's an ovel. He's receiving tanchumim. Zgami minoi. So over here, the zgan is on his right side. Rosh Beis Av. I stuck in the Rosh Beis Av. I just made him a different color. But here's the problem, because Yosef did it a little differently. I don't agree with him. He did it like this. He put the Rosh Av like this. Oh, I ruined it. You see, my Rosh Av is in the wrong place. Okay, fine. You get the idea. The point, I'm a chulik on him. I think that the Rosh Av has to be standing. Fine. Avo. Meshuach sho'avar le'osigabe. Over here, we don't talk about the retired Kohen Gadol. My timer. Chol Shadaite. The Kohen Gadol who's doing the Avodah right now, and he's sitting Shiva. Let's say he had a terrible tragedy in his family. Terrible. And he's sitting Shiva, and everybody's coming. And who shows up? His competition. The retired Kohen Gadol. Chol Shadaite. It's going to make him feel bad. Sovek Chadibi, he's going to think he's making fun of me. In fact, the Ramah paskins ala halacha that one should not go be menachem over somebody if you hate that person. If there's a fight between two people, you don't go to be menachem over. Because basically we're telling the guy, look what happened to you. You're like making fun of him. And the Ramah also says you shouldn't go be mevakeh chayla. Somebody who's really sick, and you had a big fight, you don't go show up at the hospital, Shalom Aleichem, I'm here to visit you. Because basically you're poking fun. You see what happens when you fight with me? Hashem showed you. You don't do that. Says the Chassam Sofer, I don't understand. Rava, the famous Rava, a lot of people, you find out after the nifter, like they didn't tell anybody that they had the machla. These type of people, they don't say it. It's ayin hara to say it. I don't know what they're thinking exactly. The Gemara says that Rava, when he got sick, he waited a day or two to see if it was going to go away. It didn't go away. He told the whole world. Why? He wanted everybody to daven for him. It's better that people should daven. You should tell people. And he says more than that. You shouldn't be happy when your enemy falls. So Rava would say it on purpose. He wanted his enemies to be happy. They should be happy, and because they're happy, the end of the pasuk over there is Hashem will have rachmanas. Adarabah, the fact that the enemy is happy, it takes away from the disease. Ask some sofer. So then why shouldn't the enemy show up? It's great. If the enemy shows up and he's actually happy, it's good for the chayla. And then I was thinking afterwards, but it's not good for the enemy. It's terrible. If you're the enemy and you do such a thing, Hashem will... Okay.
Does he have an answer?
No. He's mechulik on the remote, kind of. The others are also mechulik. Omer Apapa. Shma mino ma masnisan tlas. You see from this brisa three things. Shma mino hainus gan hainu memuna. I just threw this together on Motzei Shabbos, so excuse the... You have our mission. It says, the Mishnah calls the vice Kohen Gadol, I don't want to say vice president again, Mom, it just makes me nervous. Not the coming one. The V'hamemuna. What? Viceroy, whatever you... No. Assistant. The assistant Kohen Gadol. He's called him a deputy. He's called him a Muna. And then in the Brisa, Tana Rabbanan, under the dotted line, Tana Rabbanan, Shu'ayber B'Shur L'Nam, it's the same thing. All of a sudden it calls him a Zgan. In the Mishnah it calls him a Muna, and Zgan. It's okay. Shma Mino, you see from here, Hainu Zgan, Hainu Muna, it's the same person. Ushma Mino Avelim V'Chalam Oivrim. And you see from this right over here. What do you see over here? The Avelim are standing in the bottom left corner, right, like this. And these people are being menachem. They're saying, "Amoki menachem." My mom has ruined everything. Yoshi's going to kill me. Last night it was much better. You saw this 2 days ago also in the right way. If you look at this picture right here, the ones in the brown clothing, those are the avelim, and they're to the left of the people that are menachem them. How do we do it today? The Avelim are the ones that are walking through, and everybody else stands stationary. So the Gemara explains what happened. In the beginning, the Avelim used to stand, and everybody would walk like in this picture. There were two families that were fighting, like little kids. I'm first, I'm second. I want to be first. Said this a while ago. I just like it because Mom is so typical. Israelis heard that in England, people are so proper over there that if you cut the line, nobody says anything. They won't do anything. So they see this long line in a pharmacy. They tried it out. They cut the whole line to the front. Nobody said a word. They pay, and as they're paying, the security guard comes, grabs one of the guys by the ear, and yanks him all the way out. And the whole line, they started clapping, but very politely. You know, like, they don't want to, can't be revised Baravim, but it was funny, yeah. Anyway, so, approved by Approved by Ashi. Ashi approved. He's not even sitting on the table.
He's in the back.
He's up and away. Ashi, you didn't work last night. What happened?
What?
You didn't work last night?
I did. I slept 90 minutes.
90 minutes, and he said the shir. Wow. All right, Givaldik. So that is Skino. So they made a takana. So they made a takana that everybody stands. Like this is no fighting, no more fights. Let the Avelim do all the work. Great. As we're going to see, that you can do any minute you want. In fact, the Yemenites, the Teimanim, they do it like it used to be, that everybody walks and the Avelim stand. Chazav all of a Sibir Simon. Omar Rami Barabba Hechzer Rebbi Yosef Adov Leishim Mitzipari. Rebbi Yosef said we got to do the first minute. Shu Avelim Oimdim, the Avelim stand, stationary V'cholam Oivrim, and everybody, the whole Levaya, they're the ones that walk and say Amokim Menachem Etzem. V'omar Rami Barabba Hizkim Rebbi Yosef Mitzipari Shaloi Teh Isho Malach B'Shuka B'no Achareh. Another takana of the Rebbe is that a woman should not walk in front of her child. Mishum Ma'aseh Shaya, there's a terrible story where a woman walked in front of her child. The kidnappers came, kidnapped the child, and she suddenly turns around and she sees that her son is not there. So she started screaming, "Where's my son?" So some guy, one of the kidnappers said, "Oh, I'll tell you where your son is. Come with me. He's in this house." And he took her to this house, and they walked in, and then he locked the door, and they were ma'anas her. So they made a takana, kid has to go in front of a mother. Every time I think about, just to think about it, that 80 years ago, 90 years ago, when there was no toilets, no bathrooms in your house, and you lived in Europe, and it was, forget Europe, in Utah, you know how cold it is over there. 10 below zero, 2 in the morning, you have a stomachache. You got to get out of bed, go outside in the snow, walk through the thing, 25 feet. But it was even worse. They had to go out of the city. We're talking about over here, says Rashi, not even like a close by. Outside, we were in Radin. There's no bathroom in the yeshiva. You have to walk out of yeshiva. There's like a bunch of blocks with 2 holes in the ground. That's where people went. Unbelievable. It was just 80 years ago. People had to go through this. And that was all good. So, but we have a problem. You go into the field far away from the city. You don't know who's there. Maybe there's a woman in there. It could be a gichud. So women have to talk to each other. I don't know. I mean, based on what I hear over here, I don't even know if you have to make a takana, or maybe it comes from there. But it just seems like it's an amal azach. I asked Rabbi Yishaya Rabba in the cemetery in Hutzel. So they say over here on the spot, what does it mean? I asked him in the cemetery. What's the nafkamina where I asked him? I asked him in the makolet. I asked him in a field. No, because you're not allowed to talk and learning in a cemetery. But you're allowed to talk and learning in things that have to do with the cemetery. This line of people that give tanchumim, it has to be at least a minimum 10 people. Sometimes you have a very, very small levaya, right? On the WhatsApp, they say, hey, we need a minyan for this Meis Mitzvah. We had it on the MDY chats a few times. I'm not on the chat, but they said that like MDY does mitzvahs, and there's one of the things, I spoke about it. They'll run to the,
Not allowed to say anything except if it has to do with the shir anymore in the MDY WhatsApp group.
Exactly. Great. Is that good or not good?
No fundraising.
I mean, it's to eliminate fundraisers, because we had a few characters that they try to use the platform for things that they shouldn't be using it for. So unfortunately, everybody has to suffer. But anyway, what? In Corona, they have, right? So if you have a very minimum tzum, you have the Oval and his brother, 2 Avelim and 8 people. So you have a minyan. Now you don't stand and do the shura. It's too few. You have to have 10 that came to Levaya and are not the Avelim. Ben Shavelim Oimdim B'chol Oivrim. Ben Shavelim Oivrim B'chol Oimdim. At the end, the Gemara says it doesn't matter if the Avelim are the one that are standing straight and everybody's walking, or everybody's standing straight and the Avelim are walking. You do it either way you want. And when the Kohen Gadol receives Tanchumim, he's in Avel. What language does the Kohen Gadol use when he goes to be Menachem over somebody else? Toshma. He says like what we say today, Amokim Menachem Eschem, or Min HaShamayim Tenuchamu, or Tenuchamu Min HaShamayim. The Sephardim say one way, the Yemenites say the other way, and we say this way. The bottom line is he says like everybody else. Why? Because it says that the Kohen Gadol says Tisnechamu. Amokim Menachem Eschem, P'sov Shaveh Tzim Yishulayim. Hey Ridami, Ilay Mekim Menachem Achrin Lidei. If people are coming to be Menachem Aval him, and he tells them Amokim Menachem Eschem, he's telling them a terrible thing. He's basically telling them, you're going to be sitting Shiva soon. So obviously he's not telling people that are coming to Menachem him, he's going to be Menachem other people. He's no different than anybody else. He says the same thing that everybody else says, Shema Amino. Melech Leidan. Omer Rav Yosef, a king should not be judging other people and people don't judge him. He has immunity. Omer Rav Yosef Lishonu El Malchei Yisrael. This is only for the Malachim of Yisrael. Avamachim is David and Noisan. There was a time where Klal Yisrael was divided in two. There was a Melech Yisrael and Melech David. Melech David, you could judge, and he can't be judged. Based David Kohen Hashem, Dinu Laboik Mishpat. Says that they should judge others. It has to go both ways. If you judge, you have to be able to be judged. We had yesterday. First, judge yourself before you judge others. So there's an interesting Rambam. He says like this. I'm just putting it up here. It's basically all the way on the bottom. What's the difference between Yisrael and David? The Machi Yisrael are Baligaiva. They think that they're greater than thou. A melech from David understands that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is above him and that he's doing it for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Machi Yisrael, my time Eloi. Mishum Maisa Shahaya. Says Gemara, there's a story that happened. The Abdi Yana Malka Kotel Nafsha. Yanai's servant killed somebody. Amalu Shimon ben Shedach lechachamim tnu nechem boy uneduneno. Shimon ben Shedach. Who's Shimon ben Shedach? How is he related to Yanai? Brother-in-law. He says, listen, we have to deal with this right now, even though the master happens to be the king. Sholchulei, they sent to Yanai, Abdach Kotel Nafsha, your slave killed somebody. Shadrilu, so he took the slave, he put him in a box, sent it to Bez and deal with it. Sholchulei, they said to Yanai, Ta'an namilacha. It's not enough that you send your slave, you yourself have to show up here. Why? When you deal with a bull, the owner shows up also. Why? You're trying to take away from the owner. You're going to give him a monetary loss. Monetary loss also when you take away a slave, you kill a slave, he's going to lose. You have to show up. Also Yosef. So Yanai showed up, and as a king, he plops down, he sits down on a chair. So Shimon ben Shetach, his brother-in-law, tells him, Yanai HaMelech, Amoy daraglecha, you have to stand up, and they're going to testify. Don't worry, I'm not making you stand up because I don't like you or anything. You're standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the two people that had the fight shall stand. So Yanai did not like him. In fact, he wanted to kill him. Like the Gemara says, when Yanai killed all the Chachamim, it was Yanai's wife, who's Shimon ben Shetach's sister. She hit him, otherwise he would have been dead. I'm not listening to you. If your friends agree with you, then I'll stand. So Shimon ben Shetach looks to his right. Everybody starts looking around. They didn't realize that he's looking at them. They looked at the ground. He looks at the left, and they looked at the ground. You're pretending that you're thinking in something. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what you're thinking about. You're not listening to me. You're not sticking up for the halacha. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to come, and he'll take revenge. Miyad bo Gavriel, so the Malach Gavriel came, he knocked them into the ground, and they all died, and therefore they established a rule, Melech Leidan, you have to be careful from a king because he's dangerous. The Dayanim will be scared of him. And therefore you don't testify against him. He does not testify. Sponsors. The turning of David Tavis. Berkovici family, in honor of them, the White Daf champions Leo, Shamshi Schlafrak, Uncle Freddie, and Mr. Gross. So I don't think it's official because his name is official, not Mr. Gross. Somebody else probably. L'refuah Shelaima of our fearless leader in chief, Chaim Gavril ben Tzivio Lano, by the members of the Monsey Fire Department, who now number 19 Loimdei Daf. Unbelievable. And Yaakov Citron Films, strategic video production. You know that video that I showed where I came into the room and I said that it takes many hours to do, and they showed the whole film. That was Yaakov Citron. So Rashi here says beautiful. We know some of it. Why is it that a Kohen Gadol doesn't perform chalitza? Why shouldn't the Kohen Gadol perform chalitza? Because part of the process is where the Yavama spits. You do not spit at a Kohen Gadol. A king. You don't spit at a king. Another thing is, why doesn't he perform Yibum? Why does a king perform Yibum? This is unbelievable. Because he doesn't work for anybody. What's Yibum? Yibum is to L'hakim Shem L'Achiv. That the brother that died should have a memory. No, he doesn't work. He's a king. He's not working for his brother. How come you don't do chalitza to the king's wife if the king dies without children? Because she's usher to marry anybody in the world. So there's no point in doing chalitza. And on that, the Rebbe Chanan Bassamer wants to prove that it's not a mitzvah to do chalitza. Chalitza is just a way for the woman to get married. And if she can't get married anyway, there's no point of doing it. Okay.
Another king.
According to Rebbe Yehuda, another king. Says the Gemara, Lo Chaya Lo Chaltzin. Eini B'Amar Rashi. Afil Madam Nasi Shemachal Kvodi Kvodi Machol. Even if you hold that a Nasi, the leader of Klal Yisrael, if he wants to forgive his own covet and do something that's not appropriate, typically, he could do that. Let's say he could return a bicycle, even though it's below his dignity. But if he wants to, he could be Meichel. But a king doesn't have the right to do it. It's not his covet. He's not allowed to forgive his own covet. So if the king cannot be moichel, why does Rabbi Yehuda argue and say that a king, if he feels like it, he could do yibum, if he feels like it, he could do chalitza, and right away in the Mishnah it says, no, we tell him no way. But how does Rabbi Yehuda say that this is mutter? How? He doesn't have the right to be moichel his covet. Says Gemara, he does have a right, mitzvah shani, when he wants to perform a mitzvah, then he's permitted. I mentioned it briefly yesterday, I'll mention it again. You're not allowed to marry Kohen Gadol's almana. What about a Kohen Gadol's grusha? So the Rambam says no. So it comes out very interesting, yeah. Just chazara of yesterday. If a woman marries a king, she has to be very careful. In her mind, she's a princess. Wow, I'll be a princess. I'll be the princess of God. And then 2 days later, the king chaps that it's not what he thought it is. Divorce. She's married to the king for 2 days, and now she can no longer get married to anybody forever. Unless you hold like Rabbi Yehuda, and you say that another king can marry her, and you find another king to marry you. No, what are the chances? First of all, you find another king. Second of all, that he'll want to marry you after this guy, the other king, decided that you're no good after 2 days. Okay. So be careful before you marry a king. Very nice.
The king wants to marry you. Like, what are you going to do?
Stay away. So, it says in the Mishnah Inoisim, you don't marry the king's almana, and Rabbi Yehuda says you could. What's the argument? Tanya, Amr Leilui Rabbi Yehuda, Noshim Ruyus Lo Im Beis HaMelech. This pasuk that you're bringing, you're showing me that David HaMelech married Shaul's almana. No, that's not what happened. What happened was, and I told you before we started Sanhedrin that we're going to go through most of Tanakh. All the stories, most of the stories of Tanakh are in this Masechta. Perfect for every yeshiva guy, including myself. He didn't marry Shaul's wife. What he married is a woman from the kingdom. Umaninu, maybe it says on the side. I'm assuming, Umaninu. Who are they? Plural. Meir Avu Michal, 2 sisters. David HaMelech married 2 sisters, Meir and Michal. What's the problem with that? 2 sisters. It's a big problem. It's Issa D'Oraisa. Shalu Talmid of Rabbi Yossi, Eichnas David Shtei Achayis B'Chayen. How can you marry 2 sisters? They asked Rabbi Yossi. So we have 2 answers. We have Rabbi Yossi and we have another answer. Rabbi Yossi says, and let's remember Rabbi Yossi because the Gemara is going to discuss it a little later. Amalem, Michal achar misas Meir v'nasa. You're permitted to marry a second sister after the first sister dies. He married Michal after Meirav died. And I'll prove it. Rabbi Shmuel says another answer. He never married Meirav. The whole marriage to Meirav was a big mistake. He might have thought he's married to her, but he wasn't. And therefore he's able to marry the sister Michal because he was never married to two sisters. Shenamar. Tano es ishti es Michal. Because he says, give me my wife. Who's my wife? Michal. Asher rasti li b'meya arlois plishtim. My wife Michal. He never said my wife Meirav. My wife Michal. How did I get engaged to her? I got engaged to her with 100 arlois of plishtim. I killed 100 plishtim. Have their arlo. A big letz said, "Stam for mamish litzonas ba'alma." He said, "How could David HaMelech marry Michal with 100 arlos of plishtim if it's a mefurish Mishnah and Kiddushin that you're not allowed to mekadesh a woman with arla?" Okay. By the way, I have to stop it for a second and say that today is exactly 5 years on the day to when we started Shas and when we moved into this building. 5 years to the day. So basically there's another 2.5 years to finish Shas. I have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all these special anniversaries because that's when we're zechus to see David fine. He shows up when there's a special anniversary, special day. My Talmudah, what's the limud? Omar Rav Papa, Michal ishti v'loy Meirav ishti. We learn because, and then we're going to have to understand, the one who argues, what does he say with this pasuk? But it says in the pasuk, Michal ishti, my wife, Michal. It doesn't say anything about Meirav. So it seems like he was a Kedushitos. He was never Mekadesh Meirav. My Kedushitos. Why do you consider it a Kedushin by mistake? The Chsev, V'hoyo isha sher yakeno, Shaul says, anybody who kills Goliath, Yashvena Melech Oisher Gadol, I will make him, give him great wealth, tremendous amount of money, and not only that, check this out, Ve'ezbito yiten lo. I'll give him my daughter, I'll give him Meirav. No, I believe this is Meirav. Hold on. We're talking about Meirav having a Kedushitos. Ozal Katli. So David HaMelech went and killed Goliath. Omalei, Milve Isloch Gaboy. So he says that at the end of the day, Rashi says Meirav was a Ktana, and who accepts Kiddushin from a Ktana? A father. So he tells Shaul, you owe me millions of dollars. He said, tremendous Oisher. Ya'ashrena HaMelech, I'm Oisher Gadol. What's Oisher Gadol? Millions of dollars today. You owe me millions, I'll tell you what. I forgive you the millions, and you give me your daughter. That will be the Kedushin. Now it's a little bit of a mistake because if you want to be Mekadesh a woman, you have to give her something physical. Ha-Mekadesh b'milva, if you try to be Mekadesh a woman with a forgiveness of a loan, it doesn't work. He owed him millions. All he had to do is take out of his pocket 25 cents, whatever a pruta is, $1 maximum. Here's a pruta, and she's Mekudesh. No, I want to forgive the loan. Ozal Yavel Adriel. Sorry. V'hamikadesh b'milva. Shol tainas. No. Eidam Kudeshes. Not a good Kiddushin. Ozal Yavel Adriel. He goes, Shol takes his daughter, Meirav, and gives her to somebody else, Adriel. D'chsiv, Va'ibis tesis Meirav Ashol David. Omar lei. But you know what? You're not happy with me? I can give you, I have another daughter. Her name is Michal. You want her? Too bad. I'm not giving you her for Goliath. You have to go kill another 100. So he went and brought him 100 arlas. The bris. He did a bris mila on 100 plishtim, and he gave the arlas. Milvo pruta is. So David HaMelech says, look, you owe me millions from Goliath. Plus, I'm going to give you a box of 100 arlas. They're worth about $1.50. Here. And that's the Kesef Kiddushin for Michal Zektara. And there's a forgiveness of a loan. So that's another sugi of Mesachtes Kiddushin. If a person tells a woman, I'm a banker, you borrowed from me $3 million, I forgive the $3 million plus here's $1.50. What is she thinking about? The $3 million forgiveness? She's, A loan, what is it called? Student loans in America. You're not chayiv anything. Tremendous, woof, plus $1.50. So what is she thinking about? Says machlokes, and we paskin that she's thinking about the $1.50, and it's a good kiddushin. Shal savar milvo pruta daita milva. Shal says no, there's no pruta and a half over here. I was thinking about the $3.5 million that you forgave me for killing Goliath. The David savar milvo pruta daita pruta is not true. You were thinking about the $1.5. You have to give me Michal, she's mine. And some say, no, everybody agrees, and that's the halacha, that his mind is on the pruta. You gave me a box of arlis. What's a box of arlis worth? This is worth 0. It's not even a pruta. No, it's worth a pruta. You can feed it to your dogs and cats. As we know, David HaMelech had dogs, so L'chaira Shaul also had some dogs. Kings had dogs, watchdogs, whatever. It's worth something. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yossi, what does he do with this pasuk? It was his dogs. I want to say it's his dogs. It's his dogs. You don't like it. It's fine. I didn't say it has to. I just like to stick it in. The David HaMelech had his own dogs. Shelaima HaMelech was worried that his own dogs are going to eat his flesh on Shabbos after he was nifter. So he had dogs. The Chaya kings had dogs. My Darish Bey. It says it seems like he was only married to Michal, not Meirav. So what are you going to do? Rabbi Yossi holds that he was married to both of them. He was married to Meirav. He was married to Michal. So why does he call only Michal his wife? Why not Meirav? Meirav should also be his wife. Rabbi Yossi Tamei, the Sanyo, Rabbi Yossi Yidorish Mekrois Moiravim. You can switch around names sometimes. Ksiv, Vayikach HaMelech, David took, Eshnei Bnei Ritzpah, the 2 sons of Ritzpah, Bas Ayash, Yodel L'Shol. Who? Those are the 2. And the 5 sons of Michal, Asher Yodel Adriel HaMecholasi. Michal gave birth to 5 sons from Adriel. Michal wasn't given to Adriel. That's Meirav. Who was given to Adriel? Who did Michal marry? Palti ben Laish nitna. This tremendous person called Palti ben Laish. She was given to him. It says before that Michal married Palti ben Laish. Just like these are the 2 sisters that we said that David HaMelech married. Just like the Kiddushin of Meirav to Adriel wasn't good, so too the Kiddushin to Palti, Michal to Palti wasn't good. Michal to Palti ba'avera, Kiddushin Meirav Adriel ba'avera. So in other words, this is exactly what Rabbi Yossi was saying. Rabbi Yossi is saying that Meirav was married to who? To David. That's what the Gemara is saying here. Both of these women, they married other men, Adriel and Palti. Wrong. It wasn't a good Kiddushin. They were actually married to David. That's mamish what Rabbi Yossi says. That he married 2 sisters. Rabbi Shmuel ben Chaim, but Rabbi Shmuel ben Chaim says no. He only married one of them. One of them was a Kiddushi Tos. Meir was a Kiddushi Tos. So now the Gemara says a Givalda thing. A bunch of it's going to be a little sugi here to teach us that sometimes it's not the woman who physically gives birth to the child. It's the person who brings up the child or teaches the child Torah. That's the person. That's the real mother or father. It's Meir who gave birth to these kids. It says Gemara, Meir Yolda u'Michal Gidla. Meirav was the physical mother who gave birth, but because Michal brought them up, lefichach nikra shma. She's considered the real mother. If you bring up a yasam, we have people in our shir that come. Sometimes one guy comes all the time with the yasam. He brings him up. He brought him up. It's as if you gave birth to him. Rav Shlomo Kluger says that the word ki'ilu, not like in Hebrew today, ki'ilu means literally 1-to-1. It's mamish as if. So he says, from here you see, he wants a taina that a person that doesn't have children, if he adopts a yasam, it's literally as if he gave birth to him, and he's mekayim the mitzvah of pruruvu. Chanina kara yochanan v'ishtoi alazu gulu shmuel b'limudei simon. Says the Gemara, Rebbe Chanina oimer ma'ach v'at kirenu lo yashchenu shem le'mor yulad ben l'naomi. V'chi naomi yolda, did Naomi give birth? V'alei Rus yolda. Rus is the one that gave birth to him. Ela Rus yolda v'naomi gidla, because Naomi brought him up. L'vich nikra shma. That's why he's named after her. It's as if she's his mother. Rebbe Yochanan ma'acha. V'ishtoi ha'yehudis. I just want to see, because, ha'yehudiyah. It's actually in the pasuk here. We have Vishtoi ha'yehudiyah. So this is the famous Basya, Bisya, Yolda as Yered. Yered is who? Moshe Rabbeinu. Did Basya give birth to Moshe Rabbeinu? No. And then it keeps on going. Avig Dor Ves Chever. Who's Chever? Moshe Rabbeinu. Yikusil, he has 7 names. Who's Yikusil? Moshe Rabbeinu. Ve'ela b'nei Bisya bas Paray. So you see, Vishta hayudia Yolda as Yered Avig Dor. Eila b'nei Bisya bas Paray. Shelokach Mered. Mered ze Kalev. Mered. Shemar Batzis Meraglim. Why is she called Yehudia, by the way? Because she denied David Azar. She's a Jew, Yehudia. And why is Kalev called Mered? He rebelled against the rest of the Meraglim. Him and Yeshua, the only ones that rebelled. Shemar Batzis Meraglim. Yechiel gave birth to Moshe. Everybody knows Yechiel is the mother. Elo Yechiel Yolda Bisya Gidla. Because Bisya brought him up in the house of Paroi. The Fichach Nikral Shma. Galta B'Zraya Mecha Ben Yaakov Yosef Sela. It says in the Pasuk that Yosef he was the one that brought up the Shvatim. Yosef Yolad, Yaakov Yolad. The sons of Yaakov Avinu, we all know. Elo Yaakov Yolad, Yosef Kilkel, this is Mamish Parshas Shavua. Yosef gave food to the Shvatim. He was mefarnes them, so it's as if the Fichach Nikru Ashmoi, he's considered their father. Listen to this, Rabbi Yisai. If you teach your friend's son Torah, the Torah says it's as if you gave birth to him. So, very, very pashut, Rabbi Yisai. If you see that guy in shul that doesn't learn Torah, and you bring him to the shir, it's as if you gave birth to him. You are his father. I'm not joking. People say all the time, this is my son, this is my anical. At the Siyum, 3 different people came over to me to tell me. One said, I'm Shapsi Cohn's anical. Another guy said, I'm his son. And then Lamaisa turns out that Shamshi Shlafrak is all those people's great-grandfather, because he's the one that brought Shapsi Cohen to the shir. Says the Gemara. These are the sons of Aaron and Moshe. Where did Moshe fit in here? These are the sons of Aaron. That I get. But where did Moshe come in here? Aaron Yolad, Moshe Limed, since Moshe taught Aaron's sons Torah, the Fichach Nikru al Shmoy, says the Noda B'Yehuda, that if a person has Talmidim, he could be Yoitza, mitzvahs pruvu, especially, he says, if you write a sefer and it lasts l'netzach netzachim, that is your mitzvah. Lochin koyem Hashem el beis Yaakov shepoda es Avram. I'm thinking about the Chazon Ish now. Chazon Ish never had children, but he has these beautiful Sfarim that all Klal Yisrael learns. A lot of Gdolim didn't have children. A lot of people don't have children. Tremendous Sar. It says that Yaakov redeemed Avram. Where? He released him from the Tsar of Gilul Bottom. He brought up the 12. First of all, Shalom Aleichem. Sorry, it took so long. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Richard Feldman.
From?
West Ham, Sydney.
Richard Feldman. Somebody else I saw. Where was he? Not you. I saw somebody else. No. Oh, you. Shalom Aleichem. Yechiel Stefansky. From who's your great grandfather? Your grandfather? Yitzchak Stefansky. What? From the Dagim?
Pilot.
The pilot. Wow. He was nifter in 1971. 70 what? 76. It didn't work because your father once came to visit me and told me the Maisa. Well, we all know the Maisa. There's a pilot. He was nifter piloting a plane. It's in the genes to be a pilot. The Stefansky genes. Now I thought it was Zar Hashemish or Ba Hashemish. One pilot was nifter, the other one was nifter. Okay, kids, okay. Wow, the pilot. Whew. Givaldi, where do you live now? Renana, okay. Givaldi. I'm happy I said hello. Could have gone a whole thing without. Anyway, Zok the Gemara like this. Tsar Gidul Barim. You hear what's going on? The Shvatim. So there's a beautiful Taisus here. Check this out. Taisus says, Pirsha Kintur is Gidul Shvatim V'leini Yira. Doesn't make sense that that's Tsar Gidul. Chod Deinu Tsar. El Simcha. When you bring up kids, it's a Simcha. Many times we all have this, you have a Tsar Gidul Barim. Your kid does something terrible, whatever. Not once was I in a position I was like, wow, this is noirvayim. And then I thought to myself, there's somebody out there that would be willing to pay me $3 million to have my tsar right now. To have this kid with this tsar. Yeah? Because it says Taisus is not true. It's a simcha d'mim galaban. Just what? He says all the way at the end that maybe b'tzarch loy metzar shel Yosef ve'echav ve'gilgul yiridas mitzrayim. Okay. We go weiter. We're going to finish. Oh. He won't be embarrassed from his father. His face won't become pale. From Avram. Let's just go to the bottom of the Amud. Unbelievable mice here. It's Kedai. His name is Palti. Why is there Aleph Lamed at the end? What happened was he was married. Micha was married to David HaMelech. He did Erusin. He's Mekadesher, and the father Shaul takes his daughter and gives it to another man. The famous story also. In the bed, he took a sword, put it between them. Omar, anybody that is over anything will take the sword, will kill them. So, Reb Chaim Shmulevitz asks, what does the sword help? If you want to be over Aveir, you have a taiva, you get rid of the sword, you go around the sword. What does the sword help? So he says, he says that on the first night, Paltiel had this understanding that he's with the Eish Ish. It's Mamish Aser. But he realized that the way Yitzhara works, eventually he breaks you down, and the Yitzhara could be Matara Sheretz if he wants to. He has 150 ways, the Kavachoimers, the Moir Hetters. No, it's probably not this, and maybe Shaul's right. I'm making a siman. This is what I felt on day one. You make a siman, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm sticking this in. Then if you make a siman, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help you. Like the Gemara says, Shepiltoi Kel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps you from that point on. So says the Gemara, and the Taisus in Shabbos, I have it here real quickly. Taisus says that maybe the bed was huge and they were on a Rishus Harabim, and maybe he held like Shaul that she's not Mamish Mekudesh to David. So, Voksiv, we'll ask me in a second. That's exactly what Taisus is asking. How come it's not Yichud? Voksiv, Halach Uvachai. Oh, sorry, no. Voksiv, Vayelachito Isha, her husband, Paltiel went with her, so the Torah calls him a husband. Why you tell me he's not married to her? He treated her literally like a wife. He took care of her, he gave her Parnassa, he listened to her stories after work, the whole thing, but they had nothing to do with each other. So that when he returned her to David HaMelech, why do you say he was crying? Why would you cry? It's not your wife. The tremendous nisayon that he was oimed on. They were like youngsters, they never tasted bia. The greatness of Yosef is nothing compared to what Boaz did. And Boaz is nothing compared to Palti ben Laish. By Boaz. Rus is right there by his feet. And he's so scared by Ilofes, so we understand what's Ilofes in Hebrew. Ilofes is he fainted. No. Says Rashi. Besari, his aver. Niskasha. Even though his Niskasha, he was Goiver. That what? Why is he much greater than Yosef? He had much greater reason to be with her because she was not married, she was single. She was in his bed. Yosef, wasn't so bad, so hard, not as hard, because he was dealing with Eish. It's easier to be Mizgaber. Like we just said, says Rashi, Boaz was only one night. Palti, it's unbelievable. Shanim rabbis, many, I don't know what that means. Many years, they slept in the same bed and never touched each other. Have a wonderful day.